Hey guys, what's going on? Sincere here with whoissincere.com. Listen, I wanted to post a video here of Donald Trump. Actually, it was the video of his WWE appearance some years ago. And I believe they said some quite interesting things about Donald Trump's ex-wives and, things of that nature. But I believe it's very funny that this man is running for president, and there are very few clips that especially embarrassing clips that you can actually post of Donald Trump. I tried posting a video of this scene that you're seeing depicted before your eyes. Tried posting a video of this already on YouTube, and it was blocked worldwide. So, with that being said, I went to where I am a writer at, Before It's News, and I posted it there. So it is on Before It's News. There's a live version of this. Donald Trump beating up the head guy of, beating up, quote unquote, of course, acting, beating up the head guy of the WWE. Forget his name now. I think it's McMahon or no something. I forget his name. But beating up the head guy of WWE. And now, you have him running for president. Oh, and I forgot the best part. After he beat up the head guy, Stone Cold Steve Austin came over and stunned him. That's just hilarious to me. I mean, that this quote unquote billionaire, man who doesn't have liquid cash in the billions but has some property that's valued in the billions that's leveraged by banks, but this quote unquote billionaire could find time out of his schedule to go in the ring to do wrestling. Now, some people would say, oh, well, that's amazing. That's awesome. He can, be one of us. No, guys, he's not being one of us. He gets paid a ton of money. A ton of money. Anytime Trump appears somewhere, he gets paid a ton of money. You know where Trump won't appear? To places where there's catastrophes, disasters, or poor people, homeless people. You won't see Trump's face in any of those places. Any of those places that require a little bit of hope, you can't find Trump. You can only find him if you're looking for luxury. And then he's the man possibly to go to. Possibly to go to. Because he cares about his own luxury more than yours. And I've reported on that before, that he builds his hotels and his investments with cheap labor, cheap products for a cheap cost, and sells them to rich people. Don't believe me? Do the research. Go find out about the condos that he sells for you to get a shot to live in one of his penthouse suites. You can go read the comments yourself. They're out there. He does everything the cheap way and tries to sell it as expensive. That's what you do as a businessman, especially a businessman of his magnitude. You go the cheapest route and you sell it as expensive. There's a theory behind that. The theory behind that is called planned obsolescence. And that goes back to a documentary that I watched a while ago called The Light Bulb Theory. And it talks about how when the light bulb was invented, there was a time when one of the few first light bulbs that was invented, it would actually burn forever. Forever. Meaning you never needed to replace it. Okay? But if you never needed to replace it, that means that the economy for light bulbs will eventually go stagnant. So, you make it a little bit, on the cheap side. You make it so that it could be replaced every few months or every year. And now you've created a business. And that's what the, quote unquote, early light bulb cartels did. Donald Trump is more of the same of the business world. He does more of the same. He can give you something that lasts a lifetime, but he won't, because it's not in the practical sense of the best business decisions that he could be making. You have to understand that this is business for Donald. This is not about saving your country. It's not about saving the people. Because a person says the words does not mean that they will follow through with the action. Okay? How many politicians have we had that say the words and never follow through with the action? How many billionaires billionaires and millionaires, because Donald Trump's a millionaire, how many billionaires and millionaires have financed these crooked politicians knowing that they're crooked, and not done anything to try to change the system? Donald Trump is more of the same. He's knowingly financed these crooked politicians for decades. There's been a lot of payoff to these people, to the Clinton family, to the Bush family, to all the people you hate. He's given millions of dollars to. Millions of dollars to. So when he comes on stage and he says, I can't believe that these people have done these things or that they've done these things, don't you understand that Donald's money is mixed up in that and that he never stopped giving the money? Don't you understand that? Don't you understand that this is more of the same? Don't you get it? What is different from Donald? There's nothing different. Nothing different. Except for the fact that he didn't jump in the political arena 20 years sooner. He's had time to study. But in that studying, he hasn't stopped funding corruption. So I'm a 35-year-old American. Anybody that's older than me that can't see this point of view, I feel very sorry for you. You're part of the 98, 99% that have been deceived. There are very few of us who can still look at this from both sides of the fence. I'm not a liberal. Do not disrespect me and call me one. I'm not a conservative. Don't disrespect me and call me one. I'm truly an independent. I think for myself, and I'm happy about that. I don't have to choose a side of the fence because, quite frankly, both sides of the fence are filled with a bunch of dumb ideas. So, I know you Trump supporters don't know what to do with the person that's not a liberal, the person that's not a Clinton supporter. I know you don't know what to do. Especially with a person that says that Bernie Sanders has the most significant lead. And he's not a billionaire. So for Bernie Sanders to be as high as he is in the polls and leading the way that he's leading in the polls without money probably suggests the will of the people. Donald has money. Marketing influences numbers. And if I could pay for marketing to influence my numbers, then I can look more important than you any day of the week. I don't care who you are. You could be the Pope and I can look more important than you, if my marketing money and my numbers support that. And that's what a lot of Americans are being fooled by. Analytics. Skewed analytics. I do this for a living. I know what I'm talking about. Poll numbers, stop fooling yourself. Stop fooling yourself. The same way Obama's ass got into office is the same way Trump is going to get into office. He's only following the lead. Obama got Marketer of the Year when he went into office. What do you think Trump is going to get? Marketer of the Year. And if he gets Marketer of the Year just like Obama got, guess what happens? Oh, the Trump brand grows in value. So you could say whatever you want to say about his presidency. The thing that you can't dispute is whether he wins or whether he loses, he's going to make a lot of money. It goes to the old adage. No publicity is bad publicity. So he could sit here on the face with this wrestler, I mean, sit here on the screen with this wrestler with this cream on his face, looking crazy, but this still isn't bad press for him. This still isn't bad coverage for him, even though they want to block this video worldwide. This is still good coverage for him. Why? Because it adds more into the stock. It adds more into the brand. Every time we talk about this guy, it adds to him. In the sense that no one is taking away. So you guys need to look into this. Don't believe what I'm saying. Hey, go do the research yourself. I'm just a guy that's talking to you on a screen of an embarrassing shot of Trump and this guy that's looking at him all crazy, trying to help him up after he just got stunned by Stone Cold. I'm just that guy, just, talking to you. But I'm just speaking my logical truth and what makes sense to me in my life. I've served in the military. I've worked for my local city. I've worked for the Board of Education for some years. I've installed wiring in schools all around my community. I've fed the homeless. I've done everything that I can do in a community sense, and cared about my people in a community sense. That's the type of person that I am. Okay? But I don't feel the same way about Trump. I don't see the same things around Trump. I've been to Trump's properties and around his properties and the cities surrounding his properties, and I could tell you what, it's not impressive. The property's not really that impressive either, but it's not impressive. I'm not impressed. Okay? We want to talk about philanthropy and the things that really matter. This is one person that does not impress or move me at all. So there's a lot of people that are willing to say a lot of things. For you people that are out there that are hinging on this man's words without his actions, you've never seen him hold any kind of public position, not even in the state that he could have helped out greatly, New Jersey. Trump doesn't have the balls to face Chris Christie. And Chris Christie is trash. But there's two trash people in the same damn state. Okay? Trump has plenty of property out there in Atlantic City. He could have ran for office in New Jersey. And got his experience, I should say. He could have went after Chris Christie and say, hey, you're destroying New Jersey. Hey, you're allowing Atlantic City to go to waste. The East Coast Las Vegas, if you will, to go to waste. He could have done all these things to become a better public leader, to become somebody that we could respect. But instead, he chose to keep funding corruption and then to come out and tell you he's funding corruption, but if you elect him as president, he'll do better. Does that sound logical? If somebody just murdered one of your family members, would you hire them to be the babysitter for your household if they apologized? I doubt it. So while Trump may like to, go after Hillary and her husband and, Bush and his brother and all of this crazy stuff, don't ever forget that this man put money in all of their pockets. Don't ever forget that. So as you talk about Hillary and the soldiers that were lost overseas, on her watch, think about Trump. If Trump's money wasn't a part of the deal, would Hillary be there? If his support wasn't part of the deal with all of his billionaire buddies, would she be there? If he would have talked sooner and said something sooner, would any of that would have happened? You're letting this man letting him off the leash way too easy. Way too easy. Get back to the basics. Get back to the facts. Get back to the money. And when you get back to those things, you'll see that this picture is not as pretty as it seems. Pay attention. That's what's going on right now. You're not paying attention, and marketing has ramped up 1,000-fold. The tactics being used now, most Americans are powerless against because they're used to just choosing a side, conservative, liberal, Democrat, Republican, whatever you want to call it. They're used to choosing a side now. So the marketing efforts of those who are masterful marketing experts, those efforts they are really hitting home. The American public is pretty much powerless. Americans are so deluded and so watered down that they're even ready to give up their gun control rights or give up their gun rights. They're ready to concede to gun control. And that will become a battle between, the gun-loving states and the ones that are more, different in that nature. We've lost our way as Americans, and we've lost our way because it's been purposely skewed. Through Obama's presidency over this last 7 years, going on 8, we can see an obvious trend of changing what American values are and what American tradition is. I'm a black man. I've never fit in America, period. Not at any single point in time ever in the history of America being America have I ever fit in here. But the views that were outlined by our quote-unquote forefathers clearly can cover all people. Can cover all people. Did it cover all people and does it? No. But it can cover all people. And that's the reason for the fight. Justice, equality, peace, liberty. These are all things that you will never hear Donald Trump talk about. If you don't understand that, if you don't get why you never hear him talk about these things, then maybe you should go look at some of these conspiracy videos that are out. This man cannot contest with the real billionaires of this world. I'm going to drop a nugget for you right now. I'm doing a video on it anyway. I'm going to drop a nugget. Tell me how Donald Trump and his estimated $4 billion worth is going to handle Bill Gates and his estimated $79.6 billion worth when Bill Gates just took his brand new nuclear power facility that pulls carbon out of the air and turns it into fuel, when he just took that to China and they have a lock on it for the next 15 years. So as Obama stands in Paris and gives the clean, the climate controller climate change agreement, and says we're spearheading these efforts to fight global climate change. Literally, one of our own billionaires, one of the wealthiest in the world, just went to China, our competitor, and locked in a 15-year deal. How does Trump plan on combating that? Okay? We're already losing in the clean energy battle just based on this new deal. Okay? Stop believing these illusions. The world is changing faster than this man can speak. But he's not going to tell you about those changes. The only person that's gotten close to telling you about most of these changes coming up for tomorrow in technology is Rubio. And even still, he's a Republican. So he runs with those core values of those guys. Bernie Sanders hasn't even gotten close to telling you about these changes that are happening on a global scale. Okay? So I'm not endorsing anybody that, I'm not endorsing that anybody is telling you about these global changes. Because most aren't. Not anybody except Rubio. Rubio is pretty much the closest. But what I'm literally looking at right now is a man that doesn't know what's going on in the world, Trump. He plays like he knows, but come on, man, this guy doesn't know. He's been called out many times now for his inaccuracies, his incorrectness, his crass nature, and so much more. His intelligence in business is one thing, but that intelligence is only coupled with slyness and cunningness. It's not toughness. If you or I avoid paying taxes, we're not tough. We're going to jail. If he avoids paying taxes, hey, he's a big business guy to save some money. Like a damn Geico commercial. We gotta wake up, guys. We're setting a double standard for the quote unquote billionaires that we won't even set for ourselves. What is going on? What are we doing? What are we doing? So we have to look at these things, and I just, I'm all talked out about this guy. I'm gonna keep talking about him until he loses this presidential nomination. But I am really tired of talking about him because, like I said, it only adds more and more to his stock the more you talk about him. So the best thing that I can do is just talk about him in the way that tries to minimize that stock as much as possible. This man is not for me and you. He's a millionaire slash billionaire, and this is the life that he lives. Okay? All right? So I want you guys to go ahead and go to my website, whoissincere.com. Make sure you visit my other website, secretnewworld.com. And as always, guys, stay alert, stay alive, and make sure you vote wisely in 2016.